I've got two replays, one with Slays where I lose, and then I did a rematch. On the replay I did a rematch, and then I've got a win against that. It's a rather long video. It's going to be back to back, the two fights. You can see I'm heavily outnumbered. This is all I have is a garrison army, some legionaries, and a couple more garrison fleet. The Slays, as usual, have a lot of missile fire. They've got some camels here. They've got some Nubian archers there. A lot of horseback here. Some sort of infantry. So this is what I'm up against, and I'm up against this in a town that I was not. It has a slightly different design to what I'm used to fighting in. It didn't really support the kind of legionary type defense that I would usually use. I tried to use it in the first attack here. You can see that the streets are kind of very open, curved somewhat, and not really conducive to a sort of overlapping field of fire scenario. So what I ended up doing was setting up a line across here and up there, with the intent that they would come into here. I've got some plebs, my general's sitting here. I got the Vigilese here to, you know, ultimately kind of, to put a line here, in case people do come in this way. I'm bringing my levies, his garrison, up to back up this. I noticed this building, I didn't use it. Second video, or second example, I do use it, and I think this building is the key. We'll come back to that in the second video. So, the second part to this video. So what have they got? They've got Nubian spearmen, Egyptian infantry, camel archers, Egyptian cavalry, Nubian bowmen. Here's the Egyptian cavalry as the general, camel archers, Egyptian javelinmen, skirmisher cavalry. You know, so that's what they're coming in with. I've got this line here. Largely they do come in to the area where I had planned. Some of them do come down this way, as you'll see. I'm a little bit hesitant. So they come into the area that I've been used to setting up a kind of cross field of fire, where some of these levies can fire that way at people attacking here, and they're firing across that way. Hopefully, I put the Vigilese here to sort of hold off this line. Now you can see they are bringing around some skirmisher cavalry, which cause a lot of damage in terms of missile fire to my Vigilese. Let's have a look at this front line. So it's raining. Kind of tiring for the cavalry, I guess, to run around. They did break through with the cavalry, the line a bit, but the legionaries do hold up. So what happened was that, as well as the cavalry came and killed my plebs over here, and they sort of broke through and they're attacking my levies now, which is not good, because that's a key component of my defense, is the overlapping field of fire. Without these levies firing, I'm really losing that advantage. Legionaries are still doing well, they're holding up. They're not really being attacked in the rear yet. good job. There are the Vigiles down there. They had suffered some losses from the archers, but they're holding out as well. And unfortunately those levies run away, and now I have really just this legionaries here on their own. Another problem with this defence is that it's very thin, it's very spread out. The different units can't help each other as much. It does invite a fairly spread out enemy, and this region is very large. So the Vigiles were shaken a little bit before, but now they've gone back to steady. They're not taking as many casualties anymore, and they're holding the line a bit there. These legionaries are still good, still confident. Still got my line going. In fact, some of their troops are indeed starting to waver. And I think I'm doing kind of well. I was getting attacked, getting missile fire on the general, and as well I put him into his testudo, but then these infantry came up behind, so the general's kind of busy there fighting that. But what they started to do then was they just sat here in this area and fired at me, which is not good, right? So I'm taking missile fire now without being able to sort of return fire. The defence did work reasonably. It worked to a point, but this large amount of missile fire, as well as the Nubian bowmen, sitting all the way back there and firing at that range. These legionaries are giving out. These Vigiles are giving out. But these Vigiles give out while all of these guys can get through to the main fight. The Vigiles just did give out. The legionaries here are wavering. They've about had it, and there's this new group of enemies coming up behind them. So they're, over there. I decided to start forming testudo, as you could hear, to try to minimise the damage from the missile fire. But it wasn't just a matter of minimising damage. I had to do damage on their camel archers, and my general was sort of busy. He just finished handling the infantry back there, so I brought him in, but the front line were really thinning out now. 53, 17, 14, these guys, I don't know, they didn't form testudo properly and they just sort of died. And while these guys did form testudo, and really the only thing I've got left to do is to just try to advance on the enemy. It was just too little too late. So I've got them coming in. Stupidly I decided to try to get a side attack over here, which I shouldn't have done because I was taking so much missile fire that I started to lose big time then. So I lost a lot there. These are my other last legionaries got crushed. So that actually, if we see the end result, I got some reasonable kills. You can see how much I'm outnumbered. I got some reasonable kills, but not enough to ward off these slaves, because the slaves just keep coming regardless, really. You can see the individual unit kills here. These legionaries killed 250, which was quite good. So that didn't work, and in the campaign I lost that city. Well, it was sacked, but then I decided when I watched the replay to to fight the battle again. I thought I could do a lot better. I thought about that building that was there, which you could put people on. And that is what I do in this rematch. It's the same setup in terms of the slaves and the garrison army. This rematch goes for a little while as well. I'll probably fast forward it near the end because there's just some sort of chasing of troops to the edge of the map, you know, which takes time, but it still has a kind of risky nature to it. It's just small numbers of soldiers running around trying to kill each other.
Hold!
So here you see I've got a different setup. I've got my levies now, 2 units of levies on this building. And they are basically, they are facing and going to fire this way and that way. Then I've got my legionaries set up. This is very much near the front of the city, right? So along here, they're back to the wall here, which is a wall of buildings. A double line of legionaries here. I've got my general over here in the corner, some plebs, some more plebs there. I'm bringing in now. Here's where before I had my Vigiles along this line, but now I'm bringing these levies up through here, and they will form a line over here. The enemy could well still come down this way, and if they did, I'd have to sort of reverse my Vigiles and bring them back to hold them off, perhaps with some levies as well. But they didn't do that. Instead, what the enemy decided to do was pretty much just bring everybody, you know, where's this red pen? Everybody in that way. The other thing that they do is they do bring a unit around and into here. I didn't realise that they can attack me by going, you know, into the building. You'll see that happening. I thought maybe they could run upstairs. It looks kind of obvious, but they don't run upstairs. It's just graphics, I guess, for the building. I am receiving a little bit of missile fire, but they seem to be well protected, I think, in here. You know, they're not, missile fire isn't doing much. So in come the Nubian spearmen, and you know, they're getting shot, right? And they're getting shot from a perfect position, which is essentially in the rear, directly behind them. Probably should have put a row of levies here behind these guys. Would have helped. So you can see they're sort of, you know, amassing here. Look at this fire coming in. Let's have a look from up here, actually. So, you know, shooting down at them like this is a pretty superior position. Firing a little bit from this direction as well. So that was kind of sweet. I can see how that building really works by locking in, you know, this mass here. You know, I've managed to contain them in a smaller area and getting fire perfectly down onto them that way. The legionaries are indeed firing a bit. I decided to actually to change the line of that. You know, as you can see what I'm doing now, I'm sort of making that area even smaller because they weren't really coming around here other than this one. And you can see now that the Egyptian infantry have got up into the tower and are wreaking havoc with my levies. Which is a bit of a problem because the levies that being up here at the tower were a key part of the strategy. So I did indeed eventually bring over these legionaries, or some legionaries, somewhere I made some mistakes on the clicking of the units, to fight off these Egyptian infantry. So So back here they've got their Nubian bowmen firing in from a distance. Camel archers firing in from a distance. They're kind of getting a side angle outflanking shot on me as well, which is sort of bad. But these legionaries are holding out. And having this two lines of legionaries that I brought in now, I brought everything in from over here since there was nothing coming in that side. It was a kind of crushing move, you know. I've now got all of this contained, and I'm getting some really good attack in on it. Let's have a look at the action. Whoops, it's from a little bit further back. So, have a look at in here. It's a bloodbath. Legionaries know how to fight this kind of thing, you know. And I got a ton of them coming in. Up on the tower, I've still got my levies are holding out. Not doing a lot. I think they were moving somewhere to attack. I think they ran out of ammo, so they're trying to get down. Having this outcome was very satisfactory. You know, these guys are going to give up really quick. Back here on the tower, my some of my own guys will start coming up soon. I brought them around. You can see down here they are trying to take out these Egyptian infantrymen. Certainly did. A swell job with that guy there. So it's a bit of a bottleneck, a lot of blood on the wall. And that position's kind of useless now anyway. It's just a couple of units fighting it out. Back at the front line here, the bloodbath, you know, the slaves are really losing it. You know, sort of thing the legionaries really like to get involved in. Chopped off his leg then. So, oops, keep doing that. So that was really working, and you know they started to really flee. You know, here's the general. It's given up. Skirmisher cavalry, you know, that bang, they're all gone, right? But there's still a lot of, you know, out here. There's still a lot of missile units that I need to chase down. This is not a good way to do it. This is the sort of thing legionaries do not like to do. But I do bring up the others pretty quickly, and so, you know, these camel archers, for example, get taken. Now it's just a matter of hunting down the rest of them. Because I don't have any cavalry, that's kind of difficult. If you can catch them, the legionaries can do a good job. At taking them down. There's a lot of them. got another group coming up. They've still got a bit of missile fire left too, which is good. Sort of just pushing through to get to their Nubian bowmen there, I think they are, Nubian archers, and these infantrymen here, I think. Yeah, it's a real field fight. See, there's another group over there, or are they fleeing? That's an active group back there that I had to divide up some of my forces, bring some of the legionaries down to get that group. It looked kind of powerful. It's still fairly full. I'm taking missile fire, so it's, you know, those camels are pretty much dead now, but they do have another unit of camel. I think it's over there, you can see. I think that's the one they bring back into the battle. Those are the bowmen over there, or the archers, I think. So at about this point, if we come to the map here, then we can see what I'm doing a bit more clearly. There's this group of Nubian bowmen here that are skirmishing all of these guys, basically, but you know, eventually they get caught. Here's their skirmish cavalry, actually, not camels, but skirmish cavalry that make life hard for me. I've got this group of legionaries here, but they're kind of thin. Nevertheless, you know, fighting on. Very effective because they have to come up face to face with the legionary. Oh, I got that one. So these guys were there. You know, I brought in this reinforcement to really help there. Those previous legionaries gave away. And these guys cleaned up that last bit of cavalry that you saw. So this is a winning situation clearly here. You see on the other side of the map, which is still chasing down those bowmen. Uprising. So that was that. Let's just quickly go over there because you can see the kind of silly situation that's happening here is that these Nubian bowmen are still skirmishing. They've still got a bit of ammo left. But you know, they're coming up to the wall, so they can't skirmish anymore. And the Vigilese aren't very good at taking fire. Go back a little bit more, but that's about it. Gives them a chance to get another volley, I think. And these Vigilese, however, are just too exhausted, I think, and they don't have enough to take out the bowmen, and they give up. And then the next group of legionaries that come in, I think that is, are just too exhausted as well, and they're taking fire.
On your command!
And they gave up. So, you know, I've got this group of bowmen here that had killed all of that I had sent over here. So what I have left is these two groups of legionaries that are exhausted, as you can see. So I thought I'd just wait for the bowmen to come back to me, and I guess that's where the fight does take a little while. The bowmen do come back, even though they're wavering. They run all the way back over here. Maybe if I fast forward a little bit faster, I do put my guys into Testudo. They're still exhausted. I'll get back. It'll take a while because it's raining to recover. Very tired, exhausted. Less than half the group. I moved them a little bit just as a kind of positioning for these bowmen that come up. Very tired, exhausted still. Very tired, so they are recovering a bit, a little bit more positioning. I thought they were going to shoot at me, but as it turned out, they didn't have any missiles left, and it was just melee combat. I had a little bit of missile fire left from my legionary, and then the fight, which is obvious win. So that was a costly victory, though it was only the garrison force, outnumbered considerably, I guess, with different kinds of, up against a lot of missile fire, and that was a winning strategy.